Corned beef Reubens are one of my all-time favorite sandwiches. There's just something about the salty, flavorful corned beef, the tang of the sauerkraut, and the sharp Swiss cheese tying it all together. Something I love to make but I don't make nearly as often as I would prefer. And every time I do, I'm reminded of how amazing it is when I make it myself. I'm Jason Logston from Amazing Food Made Easy, and today I'm going to show you how to make some amazing sous vide corned beef Reubens. This recipe will work with any type of corned beef, however I prefer to cure my own. If that's something you're interested in, I have a link below to a video that talks all about that and will give you all the information you need to know to make some amazing home-cured corned beef. There's lots of ways that you can cook corned beef, but I really like to sous vide it. Depending on the time and temperature that you use, there's a lot of different textures you can get your corned beef to have. That's one of the things I like about using sous vide. You have total control over how the corned beef is going to turn out. My favorite time and temperature is 131 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 to 2 days. It's not going to turn out with a traditional texture, but it's going to be really, really moist, and it's going to have a nice firmness and bite to it that I really enjoy, especially on Reubens. If you prefer a more traditional texture, you can raise that temperature up to 156 degrees, or for a really traditional, you can go to 176 degrees. At that point, you only need to cook it for about 12 to 24 hours to break it down though. But the sous vide process is the same, regardless of the temperature that you pick. When you cook corned beef with sous vide, you don't use a lot of extra water. And that means the end result can be saltier than it is when you cook it traditionally. If you really don't like much salt in your food, you can soak the corned beef for a few hours in clean water and it'll pull out some of that salt. I usually do it for 3 to 4 hours if I'm trying to remove some, but some people like to go overnight to really get a lot of that salt out. It's just an option that you can turn to if you keep finding yourself cooking corned beef that's a little too salty for your tastes. For the corned beef itself, you want to first preheat your water bath to 131 degrees Fahrenheit, or the temperature that you decided to cook your corned beef at. If a spice packet came with your corned beef, or you have some extra spices from when you corned it yourself, you can add them to the corned beef at this point. Then take your corned beef and put it in your sous vide bag, place it in the water bath, and let it cook until fully tenderized. At 131, it's going to take around 1 to 2 days. If you get into the higher temperatures, around 176 degrees, it's only going to take around 12 to 24 hours. Once the corned beef has been fully cooked, take it out of the water bath, remove it from the pouch, and pat it dry. If you want to, you can give it a quick sear like you would with most types of meat. However, because corned beef is traditionally braised, we usually don't associate it with having a good crust on it, so you can get away with skipping that step most of the time. Next, you want to cut the corned beef into slices. You can use any size of slice that you want. Some people, such as my dad, want really, really thin slices. The thinner the better. Other people like having a big, thick hunk of corned beef on their Reuben, so it really depends on your personal preference. It's already been cooked, so you can go with any size that you prefer. I personally prefer my rye bread to be toasted just a little bit, so I'll throw it in the toaster oven just to give it a little crunchiness on the outside. Some people prefer it untoasted, and if that's you, that's completely fine. Add some Russian dressing or special sauce to both pieces of bread. I prefer Sir Kensington's special sauce. There's a lot of different brands out there. Anything from Russian dressing to Thousand Island to special sauce will work great. Next, add some sauerkraut to both pieces of bread. Then add some corned beef on top of the sauerkraut. Add a slice of Swiss cheese or Gruyere to both pieces. And place it in the oven under the broiler just until the cheese melts. Put the two sides together, cut it in half, and you're ready to eat. You can serve the Reubens with some French fries or some chips, or even just a pickle and some potato salad. But regardless of how you serve it, you're going to love how tender and flavorful this corned beef Reuben is.